This next scene is from Get Out. So with Get Out, I'm not much of a horror fan. To be honest with you, I don't really appreciate the genre of horror that much. Um, but what I think what Get Out does that most films in the genre don't do is have a lot of representation through the medium of film, through its visual effects. It's a lot of metaphorical stuff that most horror films would just show somebody getting their head slashed off. Or yeah, we'll just get into it. We'll just get into it. So the way that this frame is shot is what we're seeing is like equality. We're seeing brown equal pillars holding up a big white house. And then in the middle of the frame lays an old analog TV, which again it's the way that it's framed. It has the pillars on the outside, the TV in the middle, and it's all very equal. It's showing equilibrium in the way that the room is set up. And I think the metaphor of the brown pillars holding up the whole house. In the film, it has themes about the way that black people in America were used for their manual labor and for their bodies from white people in the past and even in today's future world. And I feel like that's representative of that. It's showing that the black people in this film are the things that are keeping everything together. Um, yeah.
Wait.
You could also make a claim that having an old analog TV right in the middle of the frame is a reflection on the backwards nature of America towards black people. Showing how out of touch and how out of time the way that black people are still treated in today's society. And I feel like that's something also, it's a reflection on the fact that it's a TV that's supposed to be without color. That old of a TV usually wouldn't have a colored screen on it. But what they're doing is instead of having black and white, which shows equality and it shows that they're not seeing any race, it shows black and white is equal. Where what this is doing is it's bringing color into something that doesn't have color. Humans' skin color shouldn't have an effect on the type of people that they are. But what this TV is doing is it's bringing color into something that there wasn't, which is again showing that the white people are almost fetishizing blackness in a way. It's fetishizing the fact that color matters, skin color matters. I want to be black. I want to have what black people don't have. So yeah, that's something.
Hey, Chris. How's it going, buddy? You can answer. There's an intercom in the room.
Where's Rose?
Oh, you dirty dog.
What I like here is the background is fully like brown mahogany woods, and so is the chair. What the backdrop is it's literally blending in the main character's skin color into the set decor. It's full shades of different browns. And then we see the character's shirt and the overshirt being blue and white, which in the time period of 1800s prison uniforms would kind of look like that. So again, it's maybe a reflection on the American justice system. But the whole fact that his skin blends into the background of the house again would show how black people are blending into the backgrounds of societies, and that their struggles aren't really being seen as much as white people's are, and that a lot of the stuff that they have to deal with is technology. They don't have the money to afford the luxuries of life that they used to not have. And you can see the main character's head actually blend into the background, and you can see that the clothes that he's wearing are the only thing that is sticking out. I feel like that might be a reflection on the way that the character's own physical choices show that he's not something that should not stand out. He's something that should stand out. Something that is valid in his opinions, and he's taking pride in the clothes that he wears.
Now, you're one of the lucky ones, trust me. Jeremy's wrangling method sounds way less pleasant. I'm supposed to answer any outstanding questions, concerns you may have so far. Apparently, our common understanding of the process has a positive impact on the success rate of the procedure. You could give a shit, right? Okay. Just let me just tell you what it is. Phase 1 was the hypnotism. That's how they sedate you. Phase 2 is this. Mental preparation. It's basically a psychological pre-op.
Pre-op.
For phase 3, the transplantation. Well, partial, actually. The piece of your brain connected to your nervous system needs to stay put, keeping those intricate connections intact. So you won't be gone. Not completely. A sliver of you will still be in there somewhere. Limited consciousness. You'll be able to...
This is something I'd really like to highlight with Get Out. What they do is they completely transform the environment into the physical representation of the fear that the main character has. We can see him floating in a completely black void, which looks like almost in space. I've never seen a film that captures an out of body experiences as well as this one does. It's completely terrifying. I mean, you're seeing him. The worst thing to deal with is being completely paralyzed, and only having to be able to witness stuff while you have to do nothing about it. What the main character, what the main white guy is doing, and the guy who wants to take his body, he's blind. So what I think is happening here is that the blind guy already knows what it's like for him. He already is living in a world of complete darkness, and in a world where he can't do anything with this physical impairment that he has. He's disabled and blind, so in his own way, he's relating to the guy that he's trying to take the eyes off of. It's absolutely terrifying. I mean, he's floating in this completely dark space, and he's screaming, but you can't hear him. Which, I mean, again, maybe it might be a conscious reflect to show the way that black people are being treated in today's society, with them screaming out for help, but their voices aren't being heard. It also shows them, being helplessly convicted to what they have to face in every day-to-day life. There's a lot of things that you can take away from this scene.
You'll be able to see and hear what your body is doing, but your existence will be as a passenger. An audience. You'll live in
The sunken place.
Now you're in the sunken place.
And here we're seeing a physical representation of how he's going to be experiencing this. So what I love about the way that this is shot is the stuff that he can see feels so far away. It gives you this kind of sinking feeling within him. What it's doing is it's almost like you're watching cinema. It's a screen so far away from you that feels so far removed from your day-to-day life. It's terrifying. That is terrifying. The sunken place shot. You can see him with his hand up, screaming for help, and then slowly the shadow covers his head. What I think, again, that's representing maybe just the denial of black people's issues in today's world. It shows that their shadow is what we see, not them. It shows that You know, they're screaming out for help, and we're just denying them, and we're making them sit and have to witness things that are completely out of their own control, while at the same time glorifying them for their life and saying, "Oh, I'd love to have the physical strengthness of a black person," but rejecting what it actually means to be black. I feel like what people want is the ability to say that they are marginalized, and the ability to say that they have to go through struggle in their life while at the same time not having to deal with said struggle, and having to, I mean, it could also represent internalized racism. Having having quite literally, what's going to happen here is a white guy is obviously going to use a black person's body to get the stuff that he wants out of it, which again, it's remarking to slavery and the way that black people were used in the past. But what it's also doing is it's showing that even when you're a white person, you still have that sense of it being black inside of you at the very bottom that's sinking. You know, it's sinking, and it's maybe it's commenting on the way that black people feel the need to fit in to white societies and to change the way that they interact, which again in the film it's reflected on that multiple times. You know, in the film we can see the main character toning down his blackness in a way, toning down his cultural cultural identities that make him who he is, in presence of white people, especially white old fancy people who would maybe, you know, prejudge him and not let him get where he needs to be in life to be equal to them, you know. So, and what we can actually see as well is whenever he moves to the right, we can see a hanging dartboard right behind his head. So I took a lot of meaning from this. One of them would be, in the past, what white people would do is they would make games out of throwing stuff at black heads. You know, there's this game called Hit a Billy, and it would be it'd be a game where you, at a carnival, you would get like a hockey sack and you'd throw it and you try and knock the black person's teeth out. So what this is, it's commenting on how black lives have been taken as a game and something not seriously, and it's sport even to throw stuff at them and make it hit the board, you know. It's, you're being rewarded for throwing stuff and making it stick at other black people, you know. It's the game of risk involved as well, you know. If you throw 3 darts maybe in your life, you can see one might miss the board, one might hit a 20, one might hit a bullseye, you know. And it's just showing that the I don't know, maybe it's the sense of risk that there is, you know. You're risking where you are as a black person, your roles in society, you know, the amount of stuff that you have to deal with compared to other people, the amount of day-to-day struggles that you know, white people don't have to face just based on their skin color or their cultural background or the place that they live. With darts as well is a very unifying game at the same time, but I mean, I don't want to sound racist, but name one black dart player that you know what I mean. It's something that I don't know, it might be a bit white dominated in that sense, you know. I've never really seen a black guy throw darts. Prove me wrong. But again, that's maybe something, I'm not sure. But what I think it's trying to represent, though, what I think the film is trying to say is that black people's heads are a target. Black people's heads are something that you should aim for. Black people's heads are something that you should be throwing stuff at, you know. I think that's probably what they're trying to go for in that scene.
Yeah, that's what she calls it. Now, I'll control the motor function, so I'll be...
Me. You'll be me.
Good. You got it quick. Good on you.
Why us? Huh? Why black people?
Who knows? People want to change. Some people want to be strong.
Whenever the main character asks why black people, the white guy in the hospital gown laughs it off. You know, he doesn't take it seriously. He laughs it off and he says, "Who knows?" Which is it's that disgusting attitude of trying to reject responsibility for your actions and saying, you know, I wouldn't do it to just a black guy, I would do it to any guys, you know, but it's not true. You know, the systemic racism that the person has, to a point where he's so self-removed that he doesn't just hate one group of people, he hates every group of people, is just something that, you know, it's a common attitude to have in America, especially where they're saying who knows. It's just, you know, it's just the way it happened. You know, it's not our fault for, you know, colonizing Africa. It just so happened that you know, they had wooden tools and we had AK-47s. You know, so I think it's just rejection of responsibility, and the fact to laugh off black problems is, again, happens every day in day-to-day life.
Younger, faster, cooler.
Black is in fashion.
Here we go. So we get a montage of the white people like explaining the reasons why they would want to be black, and they're saying they want to be stronger, faster, cooler. So what it is it's white people being envious of black people. It's them being envious of, you know, being something that they're not. I feel like it's always a question that you've had in your life is you know, what if I was black, or what if I was, you know, any other race. Something that white people are just obsessed with. It really is. I feel like it's maybe, you know, a slight discomfort in their own selves, but what we also see is the clothes that they're wearing. Every single person who wants to be black, I mean, is wearing some form of black clothes with red on it. This guy here, he is wearing a black shirt, a grey suit, and then he has a red handkerchief, which to me would probably symbolize blood. We're also seeing his wife, red lipstick, and then she's wearing a medallion, or maybe just like a necklace, and it has like black diamonds inside of it. So again, it's just like obsession with black stuff, you know. It's this obsession with blackness and what it means to be black, and the benefits of being black, while, you know, rejecting the underlining bit, which would be the red, symbolizing the blood shed and the violence that occurs and what has occurred in history from being that race, you know. I feel like that's probably an intentional thing. And also, I mean, the black necklace could maybe reflect on, you know, black blood diamonds, you know, the mining opportunities that happen in Africa, where you know, black almost slaves at this point, they're getting paid, I think, like 39p an hour, are forced to mine diamonds for white women to wear on their engagement days, you know. So there's a lot of underlining systemic racism, and it's again quite literally bleeding through in the things that they wear, and the mindset that they have when interacting with black people.
But please don't lump me in with that. You know, I could give a shit
What this guy is doing is he's saying, don't lump me in with that. He's again trying to reject this idea that he's racist, and he's, oh, please don't see me as being racist. Which again, a lot of white people do. A lot of white people will act in certain ways and then don't want to be categorized as that. Which is just, you know, I think just an overall message of America's attitudes, especially in today's world of it's a sort of a world where everyone thinks is, oh yeah, I don't care if you're black, I don't care, you know, we're all open here, we're all equals, but where most people aren't equal. I mean, you look at black neighborhoods compared to white neighborhoods, and even I think the most obvious divide would be South Africa. You know, long ago are the days of apartheid South Africa, and yet it's still divided between massive white mansions and the tin houses that, you know, the black South Africans are still living in, despite being a country that you know, apparently isn't lumped into it, apparently isn't racist anymore, but yet the white people whose families were the beneficiaries of slavery and abuse to black people are still benefiting to it today, you know. So there's a lot of
what color you are. No. What I want is deeper. I want your eye, man. I want those things you see through.
This is crazy.
Okay, I'm done.
And then again, it cuts to the big white plantation house in the background, which is darkened from midnight, and you can see it in the shadows. Again, I'm guessing this is probably a visual representation of the darkness over the white. It's a a metaphor about race or whatever. So I want to talk about the set here. I mean, it's very weird, isn't it? I mean, you've got the dartboard in the middle, and then you've got these like hollow lamps that are to the left and right of him, and it's again in this very brown skin toned room. Maybe what the lamps are representing might be the hollow greedy feelings that the white people have for wanting to be black in the film. I'm not sure. The pillars of resting on top of white lights. The lamps are white, resting on top of the black pillars. Maybe it's saying that the brown people are the supporting beams in society, while the white light on top gets to shine. There's so many stuff you could take from this film. Most of it you're probably reaching, but yeah.
No.
On the TV then is stirring the tea, and the guy goes right to sleep. What tea usually represents is colonization, especially from the British side of things. I mean, if you look at the Boston Tea Party, of the rejection of the British colonizers, where the tea was thrown into the Boston River, tea has always in history been associated with the colonizers coming in. No matter where the British went, they would always find places to drink tea. At first it was China, and then in Africa, in the Americas, they were just obsessed with tea. So I mean, maybe it might be symbolic on that. There's just so much stuff you could read into. If all of it's relevant or not, that's the question. But yeah, that concludes Get Out.